everyone, it's Teresa and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be me talking about my January TBR. Starting off fresh, it's a new decade, it's the 20s, and I am living for it because I love the 20s aesthetic. I'm pretty sure I'm going to have if I could, my entire apartment would probably be Art Deco themed, but I have indecisiveness and I would like florals in there somehow. So it probably my office or my bedroom will be Art Deco themed. I could also have an Art Deco themed wedding, which would be even more amazing, but I also like a really rustic look to things. But either way, I'm here for the aesthetic, the slang. I'm just here for it. So we're gonna start this TBR off with some pretty fun things. I'm hoping to get through all these books within January so I can start making through my goal of finishing more series in 2020. I did a pretty good job of it in 2018, and then 2019 I kind of fell off the radar because I started a bunch more series and then didn't continue reading them because I have a really bad memory. I can't be the person who binges series. If I'm rereading a series, I can binge them consecutively, in the span of a month. But if I'm starting off with a series, I need time to digest, to breathe, to sob, and then to start again. But then I get distracted with new series coming out, and it's a mess. So let's get into it. I'm currently in the middle of Renegades by Marissa Meyer. It is December 26th when I'm filming this video, so I don't know if I'll have time to finish that book out before 2019 ends. But if not, then I will finish it at the start of 2020. But the book that I'll be rereading to start off, I feel like is a very apt thing to reread, and that is The Great Gatsby by F. Scott Fitzgerald. I read this back in high school. I reread this a couple of years ago, I believe, too, and then I just need to reread it again. I think it's a perfect book to start off 2020 with. It's about the 20s. We follow Nick Carraway. He meets Jay Gatsby, who has been this enigma to this neighborhood, to this world in New York, really, and is known for throwing these lavish parties. The more he finds out about Nick Carraway, the more he realizes that his reasons and his upbringing to becoming this super extravagant kind of dude was all for one person. Like I said, I loved this book when I first read it. I need to reread it because it's been so long since I've done it. I think the last time I reread this book was back when I was a freshman in high school. No, I read this book the first time when I was a junior in high school. Reread it when I was a freshman in college, I think, and I just need to do it to kick off 2020 with. You can't read a book and you can't start off 2020 and not read a book from the 20s or a book set in the 20s. I feel like it's a crime. Oh, I have two other books I need to read. Let me just get my phone. So I haven't purchased these books just quite yet because I am on a mini book buying ban for December. But the first book that I read was actually a recommendation to me, but from Jessie from Bowties and Books. So thank you for the recommendation. I will be leaving their channel link down below. They are amazing. I love their videos and they're a great human being. So just give them a quick follow. Literally, they mentioned it on their Twitter and then somehow roped me into reading it, and that is After the Flood by Cassandra Montague. I don't remember what this book is about. I think it's a thriller. It sounds like a thriller. It could be a mystery. I don't know. But Jessie really enjoys it, and I trust their recommendations pretty well. So we're gonna go with it. Then the next one is, I'm part of another read-along with my book Twitter friends, and it's the Dragori series. I don't remember what the first book is called, but I will leave the thing on the screen. And essentially, my friend Maddie from Maddie Reads will also leave her channel link down below. Adores this series, and all I know is that it involves a dragon prince, and it's hella fucking gay. And really, that's all I needed to know. And what better way to start off 2020 than by reading The Great Gatsby, a nice little thriller, and then gay dragons. Why not start off 2020 hella freaking queer? Hey, hello, what do you know? It's wet-haired Therese, trying to find a good angle. There we go. But good lighting, better. So I'm just popping in, editing Therese here, popping in saying that I forgot a book. Well, that's a lie. I didn't forget a book, I just forgot when we were reading the book. So I'm adding another book to this seemingly never-ending TBR, which I'm very glad for. I am going to be reading Outlander Book 1 by... Who wrote Outlander? Let me just Google. Are you not gonna open? Thank you. No, I don't need 10 different ones. No. Outlander Book 1. That's not even how you spell Outlander. So I'll be reading Outlander. I believe this is book 1. I don't know where the Amazon Goodreads. Okay. So it's just called Outlander number 1. 8-part book series. I don't know if we said we're going to be reading the full 8 books, but my friend Brophy and I, from Brophy, I will leave her channel link down below, and I are going to be reading Outlander Book 1 in preparation for us trying to watch the first season of Outlander. This is by Diana Gabaldon, and all I know is that it involves some lady from 1945. Somehow, oh, here we go. I'll just read the synopsis, or part of it. She is a combat nurse back from the war, reunited with her husband on a second honeymoon when she walks through a standing stone in one of the ancient cities that dot the British Isles. Suddenly she is a Sassenach. I can't do Scottish words, I'm sorry. And which means Outlander, and she is returned to war-torn Scotland in the year 1743. It's also a romance book, so we'll see how that goes. I've been really intrigued by like the season 5 trailers going on, so now we got that going for us. But yeah, I'll be reading that. I believe you said the January 15th, so I just gotta make sure my calendar is, I mean, I can read multiple books at once, but I will be reading that January 15th. I think I'll also be vlogging that along with literally other books that I said I'd be vlogging, like Layer of Dreams, Siege and Storm, and now Outlander. Should be a good month. Lots of vlogging. Maybe I'll just somehow consolidate like 1 or 2 books together. Maybe. We'll try. We'll work on that. Future Therese. And now we're gonna move on to the second book, and that is Siege and Storm by Leigh Bardugo. This is the second book in the Grishaverse trilogy. I will also be vlogging this content, by the way. And essentially, it's about Alina, who finds out she's Grisha and has to traverse through this world, and there's this man named the Darkling who, like, I will ride into the night if he lets me. Like, he's just the most compelling character in this series thus far. So, like, I enjoyed the first book. I think the world building was great. The Darkling was like, mwah. But we just need more from the main characters themselves. And I think part of that is because Alina didn't know who she was, and then Mal is just... I ship Mal and the Darkling. I feel like that'd be a really good thing to do. So I'm hoping that now we're getting to the second book. She's slightly thicker than the first book. Still should be pretty easy read, but that's all I know, is that hopefully she gets more into herself and more of a badass, and less like 2010 kind of like main character where she's like super clumsy, she doesn't know she's beautiful, she has a crush on a guy that doesn't have a crush on her, that kind of stuff. But like I said, the Darkling is my homie, and literally he would probably start a cult and I would join him. The next book I have been procrastinating on, not because of how thick the book is, but because I don't like the character very much, and this book is literally centered around this character, but I need to finish the series out, or at least get closer, because like paperback, like I have like 1 hardcover, which is unfortunate, but the rest are paperback, and I kind of want to keep following that trend. So, and that book is Tower of Dawn by Sarah J. Maas. This is the 6th book in the series, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes, it's the 6th book in the series of the Throne of Glass series. This time we follow the events of Queen of Shadows? Empire of Storms, but through Kale's perspective and in a different world than a different country than where we are in Empire Storms. I'm going to be very honest with you. I want to read this book just to get through it. I'm sure it'll wow me and change my mind about Kale, but like after the events of the first book, and then the 3rd book, and then the 4th book, and potentially he wasn't there for the 5th book. Like, the only thing that I have going for me with Kale is my sympathy for him for what happens to him after the 4th book. But like, the events leading up prior, I'm just sitting here staring at Selena like, I can't bring myself to enjoy him. My friend who loves him, I haven't talked to her in a minute, but she's like, she understands why he's so problematic as a person, but loves him anyway. So I'm hoping this book will redeem him, because I would like to like him, because I think his friendship with Dorian is absolutely precious, and I love that, and I love Dorian. So like, I just want to like Kale, and thus far, Kale and I have been very angry with each other, and we are not necessarily at war, but we are at a disagreement. Kale, just fix yourself. The next book is another sequel. As you guys can tell, I'm trying to move along here with the sequels. And that is A Torch Against the Night by Sabaa Tahir. This is the sequel to An Ember in the Ashes, and like I couldn't tell you what An Ember in the Ashes was about. Like, I know what happened in the book. I can tell you basically what happened. And like there's a lot of like Middle Eastern, I think, mythology going in there. There's a lot of mystery and intrigue and some slight romance. But like in terms of like giving you a synopsis, I can't give you much. It's been a minute since I read it. All I know is that there are bad people trying to do bad things. And then we had a soldier who doesn't want to do the bad things anymore. And he kind of runs away with the girl who was the slave, trying to defend her, trying to avenge her parents and figure out what happened to her brother. There we go. Torch Against an Ember in the Ashes is about Elias, who is a... Elias? I'm going to say Elias. Elias, who's a soldier for the Empire, and starts to figure out that there are things about the Empire that doesn't make sense to him. He doesn't like. Leia is a girl who watched her grandmother, her grandfather be killed, and her brother be taken away because they were wanting to incite a rebellion. So she joins the rebellion that her brother was part of to figure out where he went, but also has to go undercover in the Empire. And it left off, and this follows directly after where we left off, where they run away, and like, that is where I am at with this. I'm sure that once I start reading the book, I'll remember what it's about, but I really loved the first book. Really loved it. But like, there was just a lot going on, and I don't think I can tell you everything that happens in the first book and synopsize it, that's the word now, to make sense. But I enjoyed it. Can't wait to read the second book. I really just love the covers too, so like I think that's part of the reason why I'm just like not remembering what it's about, because there's a lot of colors that I associate this book series with. Let's keep going. The next book is a book that I have heard quite a bit about. I know there's a movie that's out about it with Chloe Grace Moretz, and that is The Miseducation of Cameron Post by Emily M. Danforth. I don't know what this book is about. I think this was the book where like her grandparents catch her kissing a girl and she's sent to gay conversion therapy camp. So like lots of trigger warnings for that. Lots of homophobia and like gay conversion therapy and all that unfun stuff. But I don't know anything else. I know this seems like a really good book. It seems like it's going to be right up my alley. And that's all I can really say because I don't know what else this book is about. So the next book that I am reading in the month of January is part of the Diviners read along, and I'm so freaking behind with that read along that I've given up. Everyone's gonna be done with the series in February, and I'll be sitting here in March like, yep. But granted, also I want the paperback, and I don't think Before the Devil Breaks You is out on paperback yet, and neither will King, the last book. So I don't know what I was thinking, but that is Lair of Dreams by Libba Bray. This is a reread for me. I read this for Queer Lit Readathon or June, or both, in last year in June, or last June, this June. It's the June that just passed, but it's in 2018 June, it's 2019 June. This is a 1920s set book, and it's a mystery thriller, and it follows these cast of characters who find out that they have kind of magical abilities that they don't understand exactly what's going on, and there's like a secret society, and representation is really good in here. It's queer, 1920s. So I'm hoping to pick this up in January. I meant to pick this up in December, if you guys don't know, but things happened, and what did I read in December? Queer Lit happened, and illness happened, so my ability to read a lot of books kind of went down the drain for December, but I read a fair bit, surprisingly enough. And the last book that I'll be reading in in January is one that I also meant to read in December, and that is The Wicked King by Holly Black. This is the sequel to The Cruel Prince and the second book in the Folk of Air and Fire? Sequels to books? It's the Folk of Air and something trilogy. Basically, Jude Duarte has been kidnapped by the Fae when she was a young child because her half-sister is half Fae. She and her sisters have then been raised up in the Fae world, and she wants to become a knight of the court, but has to kind of traverse her way around these very dangerous political settings in order for that to happen. And she finds herself in a less than pleasant situation where she starts to kind of fall in love / like the prince, Cardin. This is the second book. It took me a bit to get to the first book. I read the first book right away when it first came out. Did not enjoy it. Then I reread the book via audiobook, and I enjoyed that a lot more because like I started to understand that Jude is supposed to be a pretty unlikable character, We're not supposed to enjoy her. I certainly don't enjoy her. I think that if I were to just smack her with a crown or something, she might get more common sense in her head, but that's besides the point. So yeah, I'm hoping that the second book is a lot better than the first one. I know this one, I believe everyone said had a bit more political intrigue into it, which I, like the first book, it had a fair amount of political intrigue, but she's also a dummy and doesn't really know what she's doing. So I'm hoping in this one we might understand a bit more of what is going on with the overall kind of situation that is happening in this world. But there is a lot of water aesthetic going on, so I'm hoping they visit the water court because like I am a water hoe. Your girl can't swim, but I just like the ocean and water and I can't swim. But that's a problem for a different time. But that is it for my January TBR. I'm hoping to get to all these books by January, but I do have to prioritize quite a bit. So we will see where I get from after that. And I will be vlogging some of these experiences. We will see. So until next time, hit like, subscribe. I will talk to you guys in the comments and social media. If you guys have any suggestions for reviews that you want me to do a book on, a book talk on, currently reading, tea talk, whatever you guys want, leave them in the comments. My camera's about to shut down because we're dying, so bye!